Hello viewers, you're welcome to the Smart Student Academy. This is your channel if you are a student aiming at scoring straight A's in your final examinations. This is the arena for champions who will settle for nothing less than pure academic excellence. Come with us as we show you the strategies you will need to achieve your academic ambitions. Today's video talk is on the topic the SQ3R SMART Study Technique. This topic is a mindset and motivation booster. It helps you as a student to obtain straight A's in your final examination. I want you to hit the subscribe button and let's dive in without much ado. The first question to be asked and answered is, what is the SQ3R study technique? The SQ3R study technique is a smart and structured reading and study technique developed by educational psychologists known as Francis P. Robinson. The name SQ3R is an acronym which stands for S for survey, Q for question. The first R out of the three R's stands for read. Second R, recite. And the last R, third one, review. This technique helps students study actively rather than passively. It improves comprehension, concentration, and retention of information. As we know, these are skills essential for achieving excellence academically, especially at the senior secondary school level. Next, let's go to how to apply the SQ3R to study SMART as a student. Each part of the SQ3R process serves a specific purpose. Number one, survey. What does that mean? It means that before you dive into reading, do a general survey of the material you want to read by first glancing through the materials to get an overview, a general overview of everything. Check the titles, the subheadings, look at the introduction, go to the summary section at the end of every chapter or at the close of the book, look at diagrams, just glance through them. Have a general feel of the content, or look at bold or italicized words. Then this will create a mental picture, a framework in your mind. Next is the Q, which stands for question. Having done that general overview or survey, turn each heading or subheading into a question. This engages your curiosity. For example, if the heading of that material you read says causes of climate change, then turn it around and ask the question, what causes climate change? If the heading is habitat, you say, what is habitat? Number three, the first R, read. Now beyond general survey, at this junction, you have to read. That is, take time to read the material slowly with full understanding. Read the materials thoroughly. Try to answer the question you raised earlier or you formulated earlier. Focus on understanding the main ideas and supporting details and key terminologies. This stage is very, very crucial. Number four is the second R, recite. All what you have read earlier, after reading that section or a section, you close the book and recall aloud or in writing what you have just read. You can just write it down or speak it aloud. This strengthens your memory and reveals what you didn't truly understand. Because by the time you are blabbing, you know you didn't actually get that session. But by the time you speak fluently, you know that session is well understood to you or by you. And the last R is review. Finally, go back over the materials. Reread it again. Reread all the questions and the answers you are provided. Summarize key points. This will help reinforce long-term memory and prepare you better for examinations ahead. That is just the general explanation of what each of the letters SQ3R stands for. Now let's go to the more critical area. How to apply SQ3R. How to apply SQ3R to different subjects. Now I would like to demonstrate how to apply this SQ3R across key subject areas. Number one, how do I apply it in English language? If you have an example of a topic that says features of narrative writing. Features of narrative writing. That's the topic in English. That survey, that's the first letter in that SQ3R, means that you have to skim through the passage. That is, you read fast, just to get a general overview of what is being said in that script. You skim through the passage on narrative writing features. Note the headings like plot, characters, settings, and so on. Next, you go to question. You ask, what makes a good plot? How do characters develop in a story? And so on and so forth. Then, you read. That's where you slowly read to your full understanding. You read the section carefully to answer all those questions you raised in the last step or in the previous step. Then next, recite. Say aloud. A plot includes composition, conflict, climax, and resolution. That's an example of your answer to what a plot is, or what makes a plot. Then lastly, you take a review. You now settle down and write a short summary of the key narrative elements that you have learned in that narrative writing, or about the features of narrative writing. Let's move further. Let's look at science subjects, e.g. biology, physics, and so on. You have this topic, photosynthesis in biology. How do you apply SQ3R method? Survey, first step. Glance through the diagrams, the write-up, all the bolded terms, all the underlined terms, terminology like chlorophyll, sunlight, glucose. Just have a general survey of all this. Then next is the question. You now ask yourself, what is photosynthesis? What are the stages of photosynthesis? What are the roles of chlorophyll, sunlight, and glucose in the process of photosynthesis? When you are done with that, then you come back and read. Careful reading, slow reading, reading to understanding. Carefully read all the explanation of the light and dark reactions of all the stages of photosynthesis and all the terminologies that are involved. Read to your full understanding. Next come recitation. You recite. You say it aloud or you write it down. The question you asked in the second stage was, what is photosynthesis? Then you answer it or say it aloud. Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants use sunlight to make food. What is the role of sunlight in photosynthesis? It provides the energy for combining carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll to make food. That is recitation. And last stage, make a review of all that you have done. For instance, practice drawing the diagram, practice explaining the stages of photosynthesis. Maybe you look at your friend and try to explain to him. This is to demonstrate how much you have imbibed or understood from what you have read. Now let's move on to another set of subjects, how to apply SQ3R method. Let's look at art subjects like government or literature. For example, in government, you have separation of powers. How do you apply SQ3R to that topic? Survey. Scheme for keywords like executive, legislature, judiciary, and phrases like separation of power, duties, and so on. Next comes the question, the Q. Why is separation of power important in a democracy? You turn everything to a question. Who are the executives? What are the rules of the legislature? What position does the judiciary occupy? What do they do? Those are the questions you ask. And then come back and do the reading. Slow reading, reading to understanding. You read to identify roles of each branch of government and all the details. This may take longer time than the other stages. After that, you make a recitation. You recite. Explain each role in your own words to show that you understand without necessarily cramming or quoting verbatim. Say it in your own words. After that, finally, you take a review of everything you have done. Create a concept map showing the 3 arms and their functions. At the end of the day, you will see how far you have understood the stuff. Let's see how we apply SQ3R to commercial subjects like economics or accounting. For example, in economics, let's take this topic, the law of demand. Take a survey, look at the definition of the law of demand, check up the graphs and examples offered. Then turn everything into questions. What happens to demand when prices rise? Number 2, read. Read thoroughly to understand the laws and its exceptions. Next, recite. Say aloud or write it down. The law of demand states that as the price increases for a commodity, all things being equal, demand decreases. That is ceteris paribus. And lastly, make a review. Redraw the demand curve. Write down the definition again in your own words and explain it without looking at the book. If you're able to do that, you are good and ready to go. Let's look at other important things you should understand. SQ3R helps you to turn passive reading into active learning. You can imagine when you are doing the recitation, you are engaging your brain. You are training your brain to remember. You are training your brain to say what you already read or learned in your own words. In that way, you are strengthening your memory. So, instead of passive reading, you are now actively learning, improving attention, retention, understanding, and remembrance. This works best when practiced regularly, don't forget. Don't wait until the exam time is so close. You have to start early in the term to make best use and take the advantage of this SQ3R method. Furthermore, you can apply this method to textbooks, notes, and exam revision materials. You can customize the technique to suit your style. Some students add drawing, flashcards, or audio explanations to enhance memory. Before we round up finally, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons and share the link with other friends and your students, colleagues. Be your brother's keeper. Be free to explore this channel for other academic videos. We have many of them, and new ones are constantly being uploaded every day. Let's look at the final tips to you as a student before we go. To be an A-grade student, you must study smarter, not just harder. The SQ3R technique is a powerful tool that, if consistently applied, will not only help you understand your subject deeply, and also it will help you to retain and recall what you have learned during tests and exam. So start today. Pick up one topic and apply the SQ3R. You shall surely see the difference. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.